Alright then, if you're watching this the day that I've posted it, which is the 28th of May, I think it's May, 28th of May, this is the day that I do 100 miles on my 26-inch mountain bike for Ride London event. Some people say I'm crazy. I'd probably agree. I'm probably going to post this at the usual time that I usually do, so if I did, I'm hoping by now I'm nearly finished. If you want to see where I am, or if you're watching this later and you want to see when I finished, the numbers and the details on the screen right now are my bib numbers, and if you use the Ride London app, you can track my progress. But I'm making this video literally just to kind of, one, test this camera for handheld kind of talking stuff, because I'm going to I'm planning on doing some filming on the ride, document it a little bit, show you how I did, show some tears, you know, that kind of thing. I wanted to kind of see how the audio came out as I'm riding handheld, and well, you get the point. But also to share some upgrades and changes that I did before the actual ride itself, mainly the tyres. But let's head back to Craig in the studio, who will talk about that more.
Okay, cheers, thanks Craig, and welcome back to the studio. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, I am planning on riding the Ride London 100 miles, well, today, if you're watching this video, and if you're watching this in the future, hopefully I made it. But if you saw the Scott Impulse build video, which I'll link above, that is the bike that I plan on doing this ride on. I've got a hair hanging from my hat. That was gonna get on my nerves. But go and check that out if you want to see that build. But I wanted to make this very short video, for one, because I've been busy kind of like preparing the bike, preparing myself. Me and my son also got a sickness bug, so I'm hoping I'm going to be completely over that by the time I hit the ride in 2 days' time, but it's been touch and go. But there has been a few changes to the bike. One or two of them I think I mentioned in previous videos, but a couple of them were kind of a necessity, and things have broken. But that's what I want to talk to you about now. So number one was the crank that was on the bike. It was a race face something, I forget what it's actually called. I've had it for ages, bought on eBay ages ago. It was a really, really sweet deal. Didn't know what I was going to do with it, but I was like, I'm having that. I hadn't really paid much attention to it until now. When I went to put it on the bike, I realised that actually, well actually this was a long time ago. I was thinking about putting on the bike, I realised it didn't have the bolt to attach the cranks together. So I went search online. It took me a long time to find what I believed was the right bolt, put it on, built the bike in the video, and everything was fine. I've been riding that bike quite a lot since that build, 50, 60 miles, something like that, maybe more. And one evening I noticed that there was a little bit of play as I was pedaling, and I thought it was the pedal at first, but then when I got home I realised that the whole crank was moving. And then when I inspected it even more, as in tried to actually take the crank bolt off to see if I could tighten it, the whole crank just kind of fell away into my hands. So it was a serious problem. I then had a bit of a meltdown trying to work out which crank I was going to put on it, because not only did I have to find a decent crank, a nice length, but I also then needed to find a decent BB, and that's the thing I'm kind of short of at the moment. I don't have a lot of BBs that are kind of nice. Everything's a little bit crunchy. Then it dawned on me that I had a very, very, very good crank. It was a specialised crank with a medium chain ring on it, 38 tooth, which is the exact size that I wanted, and a brand new BB in the dad bike that I built a little while ago, which I'll also link just here. So I whipped that off, stuck it on the bike, took it for a spin, and it felt better than it did before on the race crank. Race crank? Race face crank. Win-win. The next two things I changed, one's boring, one not so much. The boring one is the stem. Essentially, the 80mm stem that was on the bike, it had like a 7-degree rise, I think, you know, very little, like normal stem sort of rise, sort of territory, and it was hurting a little bit. I think for commuting and just even if I was doing a little bit off-roading, if it was mountain bikey kind of setup, probably would have been okay, but by the time I got home, after like 10-20 miles, I was starting to feel a little bit achy, especially around my shoulders and a little bit on my lower back. And I was just kind of like, it just didn't feel right. And the position just felt a little bit aggressive. Aggressive's not gonna get me through 100 miles. Comfortable is gonna get me through 100 miles. So the new stem is still 80mm, I believe, I think. But the rise is something like 30 degrees, so it's like, it's very, very upright. I could probably have gone a little bit longer with this sort of rise, simply just being the fact that because of how big the rise is, it does come in a little bit, but it feels good. Much better. Boring, but good. The interesting one though is a tyre choice. I had so many people comment on what tyres I should use. No one suggested these ones. Maybe that's a bad thing that I went for these, because, even though no one suggested it. But I went for the WTB Thick Slicks, which essentially are thick, slick tyres. Thick being they're going to be pretty puncture resistant, and in the long term these are going to be great for commuting and stuff like that. The slicks, they are completely slick, Formula 1 wheel type slick, so the rolling resistance is minimal to none, and I'm going to get about. They are designed for wet and dry conditions, so even if it does absolutely pour down, there should be grip enough. But you know, 26-inch wheels on a mountain bike, I need every little bit of help I have, and I've been riding these on this bike for a little while now, and I've been pulling some mad times on some of the commutes and the normal rides that I do. So I'm hoping that little bit of difference from that grip or that tread or that slickness will help me out. And then the last thing I'm going to talk about is kind of carrying stuff. So obviously I want to carry some food. I'm mainly going to be carrying, I've got a load of mini Cliff Bars. Mini being the fact that a whole Cliff Bar, I don't think I'd want to eat a whole Cliff Bar all in one go usually, but mini ones, they're like half the size basically, so I've got a bunch of those. I've got some iso gels. I've also got some iso gels with caffeine in them for the latter part of the ride. About 1,000 jelly babies. Anybody who does long distance cycling or just general cycling, big days out, sweets are brilliant for that kind of like carb load and that sugar. So jelly babies are something that always agrees with me, so I've got a bunch of jelly babies. And then the last thing I have are these things, salt sticks, essentially electrolytes, and they have like salts and stuff in them. A friend of mine who is a marathon runner, and a very good marathon runner at that, he swears by them. He said they're really, really good. Have one of those every half an hour to 40 minutes, just kind of keep those salt levels up. And then I think I've also got some hydration tablets as well, or these things. More electrolyte, sport drink stuff. I may pack some actual food as well, just because that's purely just like lots of different versions of calories that just like fill me with. So I'm thinking about maybe getting a cheeky pasty or something like that to put in my bag. I like a good pasty, not too heavy, quick and easy to eat, comes in a wrapper. So, you know. But that's the last thing I need to work out. But to put that stuff on my bike, there is a few bags. So a friend of mine has just started making handlebar bags or stem bags. He's got a few different variations now. I am going to link his Etsy store in the description down below, so do go and check it out. I'm going to be reviewing this in more detail. I told him that I'm not going to be kind with the bag. I'm going to treat it like I treat all my stuff. And I was going to say see if I can break it. I'm not going to see if I can break it. I'm just going to, like, you know, properly test it. But I've got that. I've also got bag from the guys at Cheesy Supply. They sent me one ages ago, so I'm going to use that one on the other side. I've got a saddle bag, which I can't remember who makes it. Starts with A. It was just one. It was just I wanted a big one so I could put tools in it and probably extra food. And I think that's it. And then 2 big bottles for water. I think I'm ready. Well, that just ended up being a very normal length video instead of a short one that I've said I was going to make. Here's to riding 100 miles on a 26-inch mountain bike. I'm feeling pretty confident, to be honest. It's going to be crazy hard. I was actually talking to Mark the other day, as in Monkey Shred, and he was asking me what sort of time I'm expecting to do it in. I said to him, somewhere between 5 and 6 would be just like, that'd be like a sick achievement. That's kind of what I'm going for. I won't make that. That's not going to happen. I think if I trained twice as hard, I might be able to pull that off. But if I got anywhere near that, I'd be crazy surprised. What I think is going to happen is going to be somewhere between 6 and 7. Hopefully not much longer than 7, because then I'm in danger of getting picked up by the sweeper trucks at the end of the event. I don't want that to happen. But that's that. I'm going to leave it there. This is my bib number. So if you do want to check the results on the app, the Ride London app, you can. If you are watching this on the day, go and check out my Instagram. I would probably have given a couple of updates on there by now, maybe even tell you my results, or I died. Who knows? But the link to the donation page for this ride is still in the description below, so you can still make donations if you choose to. And yeah, let's leave it like that. I'm gonna show a few clips of the bike on a little test ride the other day, just because it looks pretty and I've got some nice footage. And then I'll see you next week. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, like. I'm gonna build a new bike next week. You're gonna love it.